She never picks out any clothes.
Okay. So here we go. What I have up here on the screen, first of all, okay, is a little bit of a review. And so if you notice, it says how to construct altitude BD. And the reason is because I think that we've kind of been forgetting what an altitude is. So first of all, it says altitude BD, which means I'm going to start with point B. And I'm going to draw what type of line?
Straight down.
I'm going to draw a perpendicular line down to C. So this is how you go through and construct perpendicular BD, or construct altitude BD. First of all, I'm going to start by putting my compass on B. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up my compass, okay, a little bit further. Just a second, I got to get, there we go. I'm going to open it up a little bit further, and then I'm going to swing it down here. And so if you remember, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and swing it, and I'm going to make 2 marks. Ah, crud. There we go. And so I'm going to go ahead and make 2 marks, and my marks are going to be right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over on the other side, and I'm going to make a mark here. And then I'll get the compass there. And so if you've noticed, what I've done right now is I've made a segment. And based on that segment, I'm going to find the perpendicular bisector. So to find the perpendicular bisector, remember I'm going to go ahead and, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and shrink down my compass size, if I can. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put my compass there. And then if you remember, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to swing. Now, I only have to swing in one location here because I already have a point above the line. I have B. So I'm only going to swing low here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and put my compass here on the exact same point here for the second arc. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and swing my compass this way. My last and final step is going to be my answer, and my answer I'm going to find by taking B. I'm going to connect B, and I'm going to go ahead and draw that line straight through. And then what I'm going to do is put point D right here. Now, if I've done things correctly, I should have exactly a 90-degree angle. And it looks like a 90-degree angle. If I were to measure it, I'm sure it would be pretty darn close. So this is the same as in your packet, construct a perpendicular from a point not on a line to the line. So let's go ahead and look at the next one, how to construct median BD. So let's review what median means. Median means that it's going to start here at point B, and it's going to go over here to the midpoint of AC. So a median goes to the midpoint of the opposite side. Goes to the midpoint of the opposite side. So do you remember how I find the midpoint of AC? How do I do it? Basically, I'm finding what? Perpendicular bisector. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make that a little bit bigger. Okay, and so then all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and swing here, and then I'm going to swing up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my other point. I'm going to go and reflect that, and then move it over here. Oh, am I going to run into problems? It's looking like it, isn't it? Let's see. Oh, I'm going to run into problems. So obviously, let me go ahead and redo that one. I'm going to have to shrink that down, hopefully, and hopefully I'll have enough room. Let's try that one. Maybe that one will work. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go ahead and swing up, and then I'm going to swing down, and then we'll see if I can go ahead and if it'll work this way by making that a little bit smaller. Oh, undo that one. That one was bad. Okay, let's try it now. Yep, there we go. Good deal. So really what I've done is I've went ahead and created the perpendicular bisector. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is draw that line down through. Oops, I'm a little bit off. Let me go ahead and move that one over. A little bit off. There we go. And so now, what is this point right here?
D.
D. That is the midpoint of that segment. And so now to draw the median in, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and take a line from B to that point right there, and that is your median. So, just to review. So that was how to do a median and an altitude. So we'll probably look at those again today. What I need you to do now is turn in your book to page 163. Page 163. We've got a patty paper investigation today. So on page 163, this is the start of the investigation. I didn't put down all the steps, but what I need you to do is start by, first of all, answering this question: how would you check whether two lines are parallel? One way is to draw a transversal and compare corresponding angles. You can also use this idea to construct a pair of parallel lines. So first step, you've got your patty paper there. Draw a line and a point on the patty paper as shown. So go ahead and follow that step. That is step 1.
And where on the paper?
I would do it as it's shown on the patty paper.
It doesn't have to be the exact same.
No, it doesn't have to be the exact same, but at least follow somewhat. Now, step 2. Okay, after you've done that, step 2 says fold the paper to construct a perpendicular so that the crease runs through the point shown. Fold the paper to construct a perpendicular. So that's step 2. So you can see kind of what that looks like. That looks like this right here. So basically, if you notice, what you're doing here is you're folding this line onto itself.
Mine doesn't look like that.
Okay, you're folding that line onto itself. It does.
But it's the dot, the
It's gotta be
crease.
on
Can
it,
see.
not
It
though.
has to be on the dot.
Yeah. So you just move it so that it's on the dot.
Oh, did our dot have to be in the middle?
No, it had to be where the head of the diagram is.
I got mine.
See how that goes? Oh, see it goes right over the.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do too.
Okay? So now, what we need to do, step 3, if you follow in your book, or actually still the finish of step 2, what are the 4 newly formed angles? What are those 4 newly formed angles?
90 degrees.
They are 90 degrees, and what else about them? They're all right, and they are all congruent. Step 3 says through the point, make another fold that is perpendicular to the first crease.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
So notice you've got your first crease, right? Yep, Chase is on the right track.
Just draw a
You've
line.
got your first crease right here, right? So they want you to make another fold with your
Oh.
patty paper so that you have a perpendicular line to this. So how do you think you could do that? Yep, fold the top down. And if you fold it on itself, it will create, so fold it down like that and put it through that point.
You just parallel line.
Ah, and so what have you just created? Parallel lines.
You already have reserve battery.
Okay, and so, oops, I'll go ahead and get my computer plugged in so we can keep going. And so we have just created 2 parallel lines.
Amazing, my guys.
So now, there are a lot of other ways that you can go through and construct parallel lines. Patty paper is obviously the easiest, that's why we went through that. And patty paper is a lot faster than by using a compass and a straight edge. So now what we're going to do is you're going to go ahead and work on page 164, 1 through 6. So if you want to go ahead and turn in your book and we'll talk about this.
Not nice.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with number 1. It says use a compass and a straight edge. Draw a line and a point not on the line. So this is number 1. We're going to go ahead and get you going. So number 1, we're going to go ahead and start by drawing a line. So right here, we could do that. And then a point not on the line. So, I don't know, right here.
Can it be a straight line if we wanted to?
Yep. Construct a second line through the point that is parallel to the first line. So if you remember, after you did that, when we went through and did our patty paper investigation, what was the very first thing we did? We folded it so that this line and the bottom line went upon itself. So what I need you to do right now is I need you to go ahead and draw a line through the point that crosses the line. So basically what we've just created is what?
A linear.
What did we call that orange line?
Oh, median.
Nope. Try again. Close.
Altitude.
Close.
No matter where you put it.
Nope. Anywhere. You can put it anywhere. That's the beauty of this. Starts with a T.
Transversal.
Transversal. We've drawn the transversal. So now what my goal is going to be is to draw another line through that point that will be parallel. So what I'm going to do, okay, is I'm going to duplicate this little angle right here. I am going to duplicate, just so that if you're following along, let me go ahead and move this. I am going to duplicate this angle right here. So remember how we duplicated things before? So the very first thing, yep, go ahead and grab a compass. Make sure you've got a compass. I'm going to go ahead and move my compass down. Duplicate the angle because we're going to make congruent alternate interior angles. Okay? So now, very first step, what you're going to do is the very first step is to go ahead and, if I can get my compass to go, let's try, there we go. Having trouble there. Let's try that. That's odd. There we go. Got the compass to work. So there you go. So I went ahead and duplicated that angle. Now what you're going to do is you're going to drag your compass up here to this point, and I'm going to duplicate it right here.
Oh.
Okay, because what am I duplicating? I'm duplicating the alternate interior angles as the problem specified. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring my compass down here. And I'm going to go ahead and shrink down the size a little bit so that it crosses through. Let me go ahead and move and see if I... So I need to make mine just a hair bigger. Let's try and see if that's a little bit closer. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and swing that through right there. Okay, so notice what you're doing there is you're measuring that arc. Go ahead and bring your compass up over here to this point. Go ahead and swing that around. It should. And then where those two intersect, that is where you can draw the line. And what that means is that those two angles are identical. So then now if I go ahead and draw my line through, there we go.
I thought we were supposed to draw one like underneath and duplicate
Oh.
it.
Okay.
Did I do mine right?
Oops, mine obviously, just a second. It goes through the one point, doesn't quite go through the other point. Let's change those points a little bit here. There we go. There, that's a little bit better.
Okay, you draw it.
Okay, you want me to go through them again? There
I
we
do
go.
get that second
Oh,
arc,
I kind
the
of get
second
it.
blue arc.
Okay.
Where the compass at?
So first of all, let's refresh. First things, did you get the purple arcs done?
Yeah.
Okay, then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna bring my compass right here to where the purple and the orange is. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up so that it is this distance right here.
Okay.
Okay, did you do that?
Yeah, I did that.
Okay, that's your blue arc. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and bring my compass over here to where the purple and the orange is. And then I'm gonna swing my pencil back around and I'm gonna go ahead and do that arc right there. Is that good now?
Yeah.
So we have just constructed a pair of parallel lines. So obviously you can see the patty paper was much faster.
It still doesn't fit.
Travis, you might need more space.
No, I didn't increase it even. It's sitting on, I like,
Maybe it doesn't
I do that.
fit.
Did it sharpen your pencil?
No. Just ate the lead.
Oh.
What's the point?
Okay, so there you go. Now what you need to do is complete 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now number 2 says corresponding angles, so that's going to be a little different. So with corresponding angles, can somebody think about what's going to be different on this one?
Where you put,
Yep, where do you put them? So the corresponding angles, what you're going to do is do the angle right up here and then measure it. Okay? So you'll do the exact same thing. So you need to finish 1 through 6.